Look at some other notable first-round picks. The most recent name on this list here would be Aaron Judge, who the Yankees took late in that first round. Judge, the former Diamond Dog out of Fresno State. All right, let's bring in our guy, Jim Bowden, one of the great talent evaluators, front office guys, and MLB insider with his mock draft ahead of the two-day event this weekend. All right, so let's comb through that first round, Jim. The Washington Nationals, Ethan Holliday, the shortstop from Stillwater High School, Oklahoma. He's got that lineage.
He does have the lineage. He's the son of Matt Holliday, the all-star Silver Slugger outfielder. He's also the brother of Jackson Holliday. And if he does go 1 overall, as I expect he will become one of the first siblings in baseball history to go 1 overall, because remember a couple years ago his brother Jackson Holliday went. Now he's a different player than Jackson is. He's a shortstop that's going to be moved to third base, where Jackson was a shortstop moved to second base. The other big difference between the two players is that Ethan Holliday is power over hit tool, where Jackson was hit over power. But when I say power over hit, what I'm talking about is Ethan profiles to be a 35 home run hitting third baseman, which is where I think he'll end up at third. I like his swing. I like the adjustments he's made. He's added a toe tap this year. That has helped him. He's an average runner. He's got a strong arm from third base. He profiles as a future all-star. And I do think that this will be the first pick. Now, the firing of Mike Rizzo, the president of the team, could lead the interim GM, Mike DeBartolo, and the owner, the Lerner family. They may decide to go pitching because that's their biggest need. But if they take the best player on the board, like they did in their Strasburg draft, like they did in their Bryce Harper draft, Ethan Holliday will be the first player taken off the board.
Okay, so my takeaway from that, Jim, is power bat at third for the guy that will be selected as a shortstop. All right, let's get to pick number 2. That's the Los Angeles Angels. They do go pitcher. Cade Anderson, the LSU guy, two-time national champ.
Yeah, if he's there, that's what the Angels are going to do. Look, not only did he win a national championship, but he's already had the Tommy John surgery, right? He had that in 2022, and he led all of NCAA Division I in strikeouts with 180 this year. The fastball's 92, 94. That's where he sits. Now, he will touch 96, 97, but he sits at 92, 94. But he has a plus curveball, he has a plus slider, he has a plus changeup. So he's got all 4 pitches. But when I profile him out, I don't see a Paul Skeens ceiling. I don't see a Steven Strasburg ceiling. Instead, I see more of a number 2 type pitcher. I see an Andy Pettitte if he lives up to the potential. So I do think he'll be the first pitcher taken in the draft. I think he will be gone by pick 2.
All right, then at 3, the Seattle Mariners, Eli Willits, a shortstop out of Fort Cobb Bronxton High School in Oklahoma. Also, Jim, the youngest prospect in the draft.
17 years old, he's a switch hitter, and I'm going to tell you this, and I mean this. Don't be surprised if this ends up being the best player in this draft. This player has the best hit tool of anyone in this draft, and it's not even close. I grade his hit tool as 65 on a scale of 20 to 80. The other thing he does extremely well is he's very athletic. He's a plus runner. He's a really good base runner as well. The one tool that he doesn't have above average is power. He's more of a 12 to 15 homer hitter now, but in time when he builds strength 3 or 4 years down the road, I can see that becoming average power. But he is a plus defender at shortstop. He's got a great arm from the hole. He has incredible bat to ball skills that are off the charts. I love the bat speed. He's the son of another major leaguer, Reggie Willits. But don't be surprised, as I said, regardless of where he goes in the top of this draft, he may end up being the best player in the draft.
17 years, 7 months for him. Moving on to the Colorado Rockies at 4, Liam Doyle, the pitcher from Tennessee.
Yeah, if you're the Rockies, you better draft pitching, right? You're not going to get any free agents to go there. You don't like to trade your prospects, so you don't trade for pitching. You better draft it, right? And so I think you take the best arm that's there, and I think if Cade Anderson is off the table, you go with Liam Doyle. This guy has a huge arm. He has the best fastball in this draft. He'll go 98 to 101, and it is nasty. He has a good slider as well. He has 4 pitches. He's a max effort delivery guy, a little bit of funk in there. Some teams might be a little concerned with it, but make no doubt about how big that fastball is. So I think he'd be a really good fit at Coors Field for the Colorado Rockies at 4.
All right, going with the southpaw there. If we continue the conversation of 5 through 8, you see the Cardinals through Blue Jays. You'll see a lot of shortstops featured in this mock. After we've seen 2 off the board, Jim has 3 straight. taken from 7 through 9. So let's pick up at 9, Jim, the Cincinnati Reds and JoJo Parker, the infielder from Purvis High School, Mississippi.
Yeah, look, I think both shortstops you just showed, Arquette and Carlson, are going to go ahead of him because Arquette is the lowest risk guy in this draft. He's a shortstop, will get to the big leagues quickly, may not be an all-star or a silver slugger or a gold glove, but he's going to have a long career in the big leagues. Carlson's the best. He's a teenager out of Corona High School in California. He's the best defensive shortstop in this draft, but the hit tool is a question mark, and that's why JoJo Parker's kind of special here. I think this is a really good pick. He's from Purvis High School in Mississippi. Love the hit tool. I gave him a 60 hit tool with 55 power. He's a strong defender. I'd say average with a plus arm out there. I'll tell you what I like the most. Right now, he's got gap-to-gap power, right? So it's power out of power alley. Right now, you'd project 15 to 20 homers. But as a teenager, the thing that's really impressive this spring is the exit velocity kept getting better and better. So when you start talking about contact, now you tell me the exit velocity is increasing and he's only a teenager. I can see the ceiling here for JoJo Parker. Be a good pick in the top 10.
And he's got a twin brother, right? Jim Jacob, who's expected to be third to fifth rounder potentially. So it could be great for the family this weekend. So let's continue to comb through Jim Bowden's mock draft where we have 10 through 13. Our first catcher is taken. Auburn star Ike Irish by the A's at 11. Can also play the outfield. Led the Tigers in batting average, run, hits, RBIs. Tied for the team lead with home runs and second with doubles. But if we get to 14, that would be the Tampa Bay Rays. Jim, Merrick Houston, another shortstop here. He's out of Wake Forest. Wasn't a highly touted recruit, but won the role on campus. Also a Cape Cod League All-Star.
Yeah, and he really proved it in the Cape Cod League because of the wood bat, right? A lot of sweet spot contact, and that's what the scouts like. Tampa Bay does a really good job on hitters like this. The thing you love about Merrick Houston is the defense, though, because he has really good angles. He has smooth, easy actions at shortstop. He has very soft hands. And you can see on this graphic right there, the power finally came this year. 15 home runs. So a really great way to end his tenure there at Wake Forest. He's 6'3", 205. He's got bat speed. He's got a high baseball IQ. He's a really good base runner here. Got a great clock, which I think is special, and he makes contact. So Merrick Houston, I can see a really good fit there with the Tampa Bay Rays.
All right, Jim, we got to hit a break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to bring back Jim Bowden to finish out that first-round mock draft. As Jim mentioned, the Nats landed the first pick for the third time in league history. The previous two times came in back-to-back seasons in 2009 and 10. Strasburg and Harper. We'll hit that break and comb the rest of this list with Jim on the other side. Welcome back to the show. Back with Jim Bowden. We went through 1 through 15, picking things up at 16 with our MLB insider. The Minnesota Twins go with an Arizona Wildcat outfielder, Jim, and Brendan Summerhill.
Yeah, 6'3", 200 pounds, left-hand hitter. He's got a sweet, lofty, left-handed stroke and great exit velocity, 105 to 110 miles an hour often. He's got pull-side power. Not a lot of holes at the plate. Defensively, look, he's played a lot of center field, and he can play all three outfield positions, but I think he probably ends up in right field. That'll be his best spot. He certainly has the arm to play right field. Both his hit and run tools are above average. Power right now is just average at best, but I do think that could increase in time. But I think this is a guy that can start in Double-A and get to the big leagues relatively quickly.
Arizona had some nice first-round selections over the last handful of years. Chase Davis, Daniel Susac, Austin Wells, and it could be Brendan Summerhill next. Here's a look at 17 through 20. You know, fun fact, Jim, I had Haley randomly pick a number. She picked 19.
Heck yeah!
So it was Crew Schoolcraft, by the way. Originally slated to be in the class of 26.
These are great names, though. You didn't share the rest of the names.
Reclassified. They are very good. That's why I had you only pick one. All right, let's get to 21. That would be the Houston Astros. And Jim, Gavin Keelan here, the second baseman from Tennessee.
Yeah, he's a perfect fit for the Houston Astros. Why? Because what they're looking for right now is a left-handed second baseman. In fact, they've tried to trade for Brandon Lau of the Tampa Bay Rays, and if Keelan is sitting there for Dana Brown in that group, I think they grab him. He's limited to second base because of the arm, but he's going to be a decent defensive second baseman. I would even say he's a plus defender, and he can really hit. That's his best tool. Below average power, and an average runner, but the bat is going to play. And I think when you look at the Astros, that's your need, right? A left-handed hitter to play second base, played at Tennessee's 5'11", 190, and again, another guy that could probably get to the big leagues in September of 2026. So it's a really good fit if he's sitting there for Houston.
Up next, the Atlanta Braves, they dip into that Wake Forest talent pool. Ethan Conrad, the outfielder.
Yeah, 6'3", 220, big frame, left-hand hitter, left-hand thrower, 55 hitter, 55 runner, 50 power, 50 arm. Great hand-eye coordination. That's what is special, but he chases too much out of the strike zone. That's the one area that's a concern. He needs better plate discipline, but the bat speed is good, which I love, and I love the raw power as well. I'd like to see a little bit more improved launch angle, but again, good frame, big size outfielder. I could see him hitting a lot of balls out of there at Truist Park in Atlanta.
The Kansas City Royals are at 23. Jim Xavier Nyans, he's a third baseman. They go to the Pacific Northwest, Mount Vernon, Washington.
Yeah, Mount Vernon High School out there. 6'4", 210 left-hand hitter. He's a commit to Oregon State. You know, the hit tool's not there yet. There's questions there, but the power, it's light tower power. He's going to break some light bulbs in the stadiums that he plays in. He's a below-average runner. He's got a really good arm at third base, average fielder at best, but special contact rate, right? And so when you have a high exit velocity and you have special contact rate, normally those metrics will say you're going to hit. And as I said, the power just gives you goosebumps. You're just going to sit there, a little drool down the side of your mouth when you watch him take BP. So great upside. If you can have some vision and you think he's going to hit enough, you might end up with a home run champ someday.
Yeah, eat some of that popcorn and go, huh? Like what? What do you do? All right. Detroit Tigers, by the way, at 24. Jace Laviolette out of Texas A&M. But, Jim, we want to get to 25. The San Diego Padres go with Gavin Feen out of Temecula, I think. Great Oak, California, former switch-hitting catcher that was featured in the Combine a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kid that can play first, third outfield. I don't know where he's going to end up. He's out of Great Oak, California. 6'3", 200, love the frame. He's a commit to the University of Texas, so if you don't pay him, you're not going to get him. I think he ends up at third base. At least that's what the evaluators kind of tell me. He is one of the top prep hitters, but he has a very unorthodox setup, which he's got a narrow setup, high hands, and it creates timing issues. Now, Kyle Tucker had similar issues when he was drafted, and people wondered. And I said, don't worry about it because the bat speed's there. He'll figure it out. And he figured it out. And so I'm going to say that Gavin's going to be able to figure it out, but I'm not going to tell you I'm not a little concerned about the setup and how unorthodox it is and the timing that it creates the problems with fastballs and breaking balls and off-speed pitches with him. So that's something to watch. But I think there'll be teams that look at him and say, look, we can fix this. And if we do, we may have a bargain at this spot.
That's great stuff. That's why he's the best. Jim Bowden here on HQ Spotlight. Jim, certainly appreciate it. Again, Sunday and Monday, the 2 days for the MLB draft, as you take a look at Jim's back half of the mock draft of 16 through 27. I will tell you, 3 teams that went deep into the postseason last year, Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets, they all forfeited their first-round picks because they exceeded the competitive balance tax.
To Johan Duran, to the Dodgers. We take a look at the current situation in that bullpen. There's some good pieces here, but we all know the Dodgers could use more. They could use an upgrade. And when you add Duran into the situation, this just feels like everybody's in a better spot. It grows the circle of trust, puts everybody in a position to succeed, adds depth, it adds length. This is a much better Dodgers bullpen with Duran. Now, this is going to be one of the higher trades when it comes to values. We have a $15.6 to $23.4 million valuation from Baseball Trade Values. So let's put together the trade. And this is going to be one where we send 3 pieces. We're going to send 3 pieces to sort of lighten the load, if you will, on the Dodgers. We could do it in 2, but that would require a more significant prospect package. We're still going to send 3 top 30s, but only 1 top 10. And then for the other 2, we can live in the 20s. That's why we're doing 3 here. This is the trade. Kellen Lindsey, a shortstop, the number 7 Dodger prospect. Noah Miller, a middle infielder, the number 21 Dodger prospect. And Patrick Copen, a right-handed pitcher, the number 28 prospect in the Dodger system. we have Lindsey. That is the prized piece here, 50 out of 90 graded player. His best tool is his run or speed. It's an 80 out of 80. Lightning on the base paths. Miller is 40 out of 80, but has a 70 out of 80 fielding grade. And Patrick Copen, the 40 out of 80, is 23 years old, recently promoted to AA Tulsa. And Miller, if you wonder where he is currently 22 years old at AAA. Lindsey is at Rancho Cucamonga, 19 years old, still a few years away for Kellen Lindsey. But these are our three pieces that combine to give us a range, 11.2 to 15.8, which takes us just a hair over the Duran value of 15.6. So we're in there, and we are able to get this deal done. Let's go to the New York Mets and Zach Gallen next.